So here's Smallville, season 1, episode 12. It's called Leech, and a little bit of behind the scenes for you here. Now, Connor knew I was going to bring this up. This is too good. This is too good not to bring up. So I'm watching the episode earlier on today. Going like, okay, right, so we're doing the show tonight. I'm going to watch this Smallville, get it out the way, and it was actually, this was the reason why I even mentioned anything was because it was the music. Because early on there was a Stained song playing from this time period, and at the time, when I was about 12 years old when this was airing, I may have been fond of some of this music, so I remembered it quite well. So I recognised the Stained song, and then the U2 hit of the era started playing a little bit later, and I went, geez, there's a lot of music from the 2001 sort of circa that they're really playing up here. And then it got to the basketball scene, and the Sum 41, like their big first hit, started playing, and I went, jeez, like this is taking me back to like a weird time when I had kind of debatable taste. There was another
There's nothing wrong with Sum 41. They put on a hell of a show. I mean, they matured. Some of their latest stuff's really good.
Okay, I've not heard any of the later stuff, but I'll just say, out of the musical performances or musical groups from my early teens, there's some that I think have aged like wine with me, and I'm like, oh, I'm happy that I was into them, and I'm proud that I still enjoyed their work. And then there's others that I'm a little bit ashamed of, and want to like bury it in a closet somewhere, like a deep dark secret.
We all have those. For me, Sum 41's not one of them, because, like I said, really good show. A lot of energy, and, it's a fun night when you go and see them. Okay,
alright. But anyway, so Sum 41 song starts playing. I'm like, jeez, because there was a fourth one as well. Later on, I didn't recognise the fourth one though. It sounded like very early 2000s rock music. I didn't know what one it was though. But it was a Sum 41. I was like, damn, that's 3 in a row that I really know from this era. And I messaged Connor saying, man, they're really laying the music on thick with this one, right? All the pop songs. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, first, Stay, and then U2, then Sum 41. He's like, so there was a Sum 41 in this. I'm like, yeah, where's the basketball scene? And then he just went, oh god, I watched the wrong one. So Connor had to then go back. He skipped the episode. He skipped over to episode 13. So he had to go back and then watch. He's watched 2 episodes of Smallville today.
Do you know the worst part is? I'm not watching that again next week. I'll skim it. But the worst part is, there were things that I was like, oh, I'm going to mention that. I'm not going to remember them in a week.
This is so good. This is so good. So yeah, you're gonna have to basically do some oh god, so you can tell it's been since I've been in school. When you're
revision,
there you go, that's the word I was looking for. Some revision for the show next week.
Nah, I didn't do any revision when I was in school. You think I'm doing revision for this?
That's why you're on the internet talking about TV shows. So
hey, I got very good grades in school, thank you very much.
As did I. I did very little revision myself, I have to be honest.
I either knew it or I didn't. It was simple as.
Just think what we could do with our lives, Connor, if we actually try.
If we actually try, I
know. Anyway, so Connor watched the next episode as well, so we'll get to that next week. I've not watched it. I'm happy. I only watched one. I mean, I'm not that happy. I'd rather watch none.
You still had to watch one, yeah.
But better than Connor.
I mean, what sort of day is it? It's the middle of 2018, and I watched 2 episodes of Smallville. It's a shit week. It's all stupidly hot. I'm doing a lot of overtime work. I was tired, which is probably why I made the mistake in the first place. All I wanted to do was take a nap, and I thought, well, no, I won't take a nap. I'm just gonna watch this bloody Smallville. And I thought, I'll do Smallville first, get it out of the way. And then I had to come all the way back around.
Yeah, he was ahead of me, and then we realised this mistake, and all of a sudden I was one ahead of him. It was fun. So this episode stars one of the Ashmores. I can never remember which one was which because they look identical.
I think because the other one comes into the show later as Jimmy, right?
It does, yes.
So this must be Iceman.
This is the Iceman one, yeah. This is Sean Ashmore. Right. Aaron Ashmore, who's in it later, is the one who then went on to Quantum Break and was in other things.
Yeah. God, I hate that they. Why would you do this? Be twins and actors.
Especially when they do generally look the exact same. I don't know which one's which.
No, I don't either. Unless it, it tells me. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine. Like when I get to the later seasons of Smallville, it comes up saying Aaron Ashmore every episode. I'm like, okay, I know which one this is. And then it gets to something else. I'm like, I don't know which one you are now.
Yeah. Also, no one acknowledges later on that he looks identical to Jimmy Olsen. Like, oh, yeah, I knew a guy like you in high school. This is weird.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not even like they can say, oh, this is much older. No, they're the same freaking age. They're
If
twins.
I recall, does his introduction, is it not him shacking up with Chloe?
Yeah, well, I remember them by a couple. I don't know if that was the introduction
No,
per se.
I feel like that was the introduction, like over the summer internship or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds vaguely right. I mean,
but you'd think, yeah, you look like this guy I knew.
So this is the power swap episode. He's struck by lightning while he's touching someone.
I mean, it's a staple of the genre, right?
It's a staple. It's a staple. Do you know what I think the most frustrating thing is though is that sometimes it can be really fun. We were talking about Lois and Clark there. I remember the Lois and Clark one that comes, I think it's season 2.
Yeah.
And that's a really fun episode. This one struggles partly because of its era, not just because of the music. At one point, Ashmore's wearing like a leather trench coat, and when he thinks he's a badass.
It's not a trench coat, it's a duster.
That completely changes my point.
It does.
Well, it doesn't.
They're different items of clothing.
It's what's the difference?
I think the trench coat's longer, like goes right to the floor. The duster doesn't. It's like 3/4 almost.
All right, okay. But just while we're on the subject, Spike from the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that's a trench coat.
Yeah, his goes right down, doesn't it?
Yeah. Okay, just so we're clear on this. You handed me that one on a silver platter. So he's the one who gets the powers. He's actually ready to jump off a bridge because his father, who's the teacher, the science teacher, who we've never seen before, of course, is a bit of a hard ass, and he's ready to jump off a bridge to end his suffering. And Clark goes to grab him, and then they're struck by lightning. And we get and I know the frustrating part,
as he has a meteor rock in his hand.
Of course, yes. And I think the frustrating part of this for me is that there's so much potential in the lessons that this episode's trying to show. That, if someone else had Clark's powers, they could be scary and dangerous. Because we see him, like, basically abuse his power to get back at this bully. And it parallels Clark quite a bit because he's dating the girl that he's into. So it's like, it's almost too close for comfort. And it gets scary that he's throwing them around. He even throws Clark, and Clark, of course, goes through a couple of days of just being human, where he's like actually hurt. He actually has to do PE as a human being for once, and he's got a cramp and doesn't understand why his leg is so sore. Welcome to my world, Clark.
Never having had a cramp.
Yeah.
What a lucky bastard.
Joe, I hate when you get them in bed.
Oh, that's the worst, isn't it?
Because you have to actually get out of bed quickly just to sort of walk it off a little bit.
Yeah, you're like, because they come out of nowhere as well when you're in bed. Like, at least when you do an exercise, you're kind of aware of the possibility, right? It's in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
When you're just lying there and suddenly it's like, shit, my leg hurts.
And it's really sore. Cramps are painful.
Everyone knows that. No one denies. Everyone knows.
Well, Clark didn't know that.
Oh no, that's because he's a little bitch, clearly.
So Clark, he plays basketball. Like him and Whitney actually bond. It's almost like Without Powers, him and Whitney bond, and they play 2-on-2 basketball. And Clark's like, "Oh, we lost," and Pete's like, "Yeah, we lost. Well, so why are you swelling? It's great. It's great. We lost. We played, and I didn't win because I'm human. I can lose things now." And I'm like, okay, right. I like what he's doing here to a point. The points he's making, the point of like, okay, this is what Clark could be if he was not a good person, and Jonathan realizing that at the end, is like, maybe this is just showing how special you are, that you don't go through any of these troubles, you're this and that, and I'm like, okay, I like the kind of points it's getting at. I feel like Smallville kind of squanders it though.
It Smallville's it a bit
because it's Smallville, is it? Yeah, and it turns it into a bit more teen emo than it should be, instead of being something that's a bit more nuanced and it's a bit more just in your face teenage drama that's wrapped up by the end of the episode.
I do at least appreciate that it tried rather than just going the fun route. Because it's the fun route is the easiest route by far, and it doesn't really do that. So props for trying.
I suppose there's not a lot to praise though. I don't think really. Also, so at the start of the episode, they're out looking for rocks as part of science class.
Glad I never had to do that.
Yeah, I never had to go look for rocks either. But and Lana shows up and she's got her necklace on, and I went, and Clark goes all, oh, I'm in pain, and all I could think was, wait, has she not been wearing that for the last like 10 episodes? She's like, we've not had this in forever.
Yeah, she's just not had it for whatever. I'm sure. What was the last had it? So
it's like episode 2.
I'm just thinking Whitney. Clark gave it to Whitney to give it back to her, right?
Episode 2.
Have we not seen it since then?
I don't think so.
I feel like there must be a reason that we didn't. Like, there must have been something that we're not remembering, that she made a decision not to wear it.
I think so. I think it was just gone, and then there's even a point in this episode when Clark kind of because he actually asked for it so he can go and he's kryptonite to, like, you know, fight the. I love how the weakness transfers as well. The science behind that doesn't track with me, but whatever. So.
It's a thing that I can get behind, though. I mean, that's not guilty. You know, Smallville's not the only thing guilty of that. I think any show would do. The same.
Yeah, it's not. I'm just, the science has never tracked for me, and I mean even the idea that just getting struck by lightning transfers his entire biology and swaps it with the other person is nuts.
It's questionable. Yeah.
Questionable, yes. But even at the end when he brings it back and he's got it in the lead box, you know, and he's like, oh, it's a box of armor. It'll keep it safe, and you can treasure it in there. And she's like, oh, so you're saying I shouldn't wear it? It's like, it's holding you back. Be your best self. And I'm like, oh, very, very, very suave, Clark. Yeah, get her to stop wearing it. And it's like, okay, all right, okay, do your thing. But so that was something that called out to me. Also, have they ever mentioned before that Lana and her aunt own a movie theater? Has that ever came up before?
I don't think so.
Because she finds out her aunt's selling the shop. And she's like, are you selling the theater as well? And I'm like, you own a theater?
Yeah. I was the same. And I mean, I wasn't, because I watched it the other way around. And that's a big part of the next episode. But...
Because I remembered that it being a thing in the show that she ran a theater for a while or whatever. Like a small theater, but... Or at least had an episode where she has like a final hurrah for it. That's probably the next one. But... Like, it's just up until this point, though, there was no, like, oh, they own a theater. Okay, why did they own a theater? Where did that come from?
She just does.
And it's not even like it's been functional, because when she's in it near the end, it's like, you know, it's like sheets are over everything, it's like, it looks like abandoned.
It's basically just the back room.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'd love to own a small theater. I don't even think I'd like, sell tickets to it. I'd just have it for myself. It's fine. A little private one like this, it's just like one screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it. Yeah, but no. So that's the thing. That's the thing that's happening. I mean, Pete gets more to do this episode because he's kind of there for the Clark's a human being now.
Yeah. So he can fill in as a friend again.
Yes. Chloe's got the hots for Ashmore when she knows she's got powers. Which, you know, mix of emotions for Clark. Like, oh, she's into the powers thing. Okay, best keep that quiet then.
Yeah.
I guess I think maybe a critique I would have of this is that once the powers are swapped and Clark goes to his parents and they realise that he's lost all of his powers and that this other person has them, especially when they see in the paper that he's rescued Chloe when she got mugged and he threw the guy in a car or whatever. All I was thinking was like, you immediately just go, oh well, Clark, I don't think you're getting your powers back. I guess you'll just have to be human. They never once actually show concern that maybe the other person who now suddenly has powers might be a problem.
Yeah, I think they didn't really want to think of it like that. They were just like, no, we're just happy we've got a normal kid. Because
I like that Jonathan at one point says, oh, I mean, it took you like your entire childhood to master your powers. No one's going to expect you to adjust in, you know, a day to like not having powers. It's fine if you're tired and you're struggling to keep up. So I like that touch to it.
I assume they kind of thought it would play the other way, that they thought, you know, okay, this guy has the powers now. Yeah, sure, he'll have some teething problems in the same way Clark is, you know, in the other direction going normal, but he'll figure it out.
Because I think that's part of the exploration, or at least what it should be exploring, is the idea that someone who's never had powers suddenly getting all of Superman's powers, or at least what he had up, you know, at this point.
Yes, all-ish.
is suddenly very dangerous because he doesn't have this inherent fear of how people see him because he's been normal his whole life. So that's how he ends up jumping into these things almost immediately. So, you know, that's whatever. And meanwhile, obviously, this neatly coincides with Lex getting really close to, like, uncovering things, and he's got a reporter doing CGI, like, just, like, animations on the computer to, like, oh, this is a car crash. You must have hit him at 60 miles an hour.
This is the only way it happened.
Yeah, but that's, of course, he goes to ask him about it, and Clark's lost his powers, and Clark's like, go on and hit me with a hammer. See if I get hurt.
I love that he just stares at the hammer for a second. Just long enough that he thinks about it.
Yeah, it's like, don't be ridiculous, Clark. And then, of course, he gets beat the shit up by Ashmore, and he's in the hospital with broken ribs, so Lex comes to see him, and it's like, okay, this is very convenient. And I do like Lex is like to the reporter, no, Kent's are off limits, I trust him now. And I do like the idea that maybe the eventual downfall of Lex is the idea that Clark didn't trust him.
You can see that in that scene where with the hammer, Lex is like, hey, we're friends, come on, you can tell me whatever. And I do believe him.
Yes. And here's the thing, though, and this is just from seeing most of the show, or all of the show, really, is that I know the show's going to squander all this, because this is an idea is good.
It is, yeah.
It's a good idea. The problem is that I know the show, it just has Lex just slowly dip more into evil as it goes on, to the point where he's doing really evil things behind closed doors, and it's at the point where, okay, well, it doesn't matter that Clark's been kind of hiding stuff from him at this point, because we're so far gone.
Yeah, it's fine, Lex being a bit shady here or there. Yeah. But not to the extent that it gets.
And it's funny, because this plot kind of wraps up about halfway through with Lex, and then we get the other half of his plot in this episode is the conclusion to the fantastic, captivating story that has been the takeover by British Bird's dad.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name. Harry. Sir Harry.
Sir Harry. I don't think his acting was particularly good. And it's only as his two scenes is him coming in and going, ha ha ha, I'm going to take your company. Tell your father I said hi. And then another scene where Lex is like, nah, that failed you off the computer was planted. So now your company's screwed. I'm going to take it over in the morning. Bye bye.
Yes, because he made him buy a shitload of Cadmus.
Yes, which is not a very good prospect. That was a bad move.
Yeah.
Bad move. And then there's a final little twist that she was sleeping with Lionel as well. For reasons.
Of course, yeah.
Because Lionel's a horrible father or something.
Pretty much.
I don't know. I wasn't getting a whole lot from that reveal, I have to admit.
No, me either.
It's not the worst episode we've watched.
No, it was pretty watchable as far as Smallville goes.
It was quite cringy in places. When Ashmore showed up with the duster to go and ask out the girl right in front of her boyfriend, and the music's playing and he's thinking he's all cool, and she's all like, oh, he's cool, right in front of her boyfriend, until of course he ends up smashing things and throwing people into cars, and then she's like, get away from us, you freak. That scene made me cringe a lot. That was a very cringy Smallville early 2000s scene.
No, I agree. I think this episode almost gets a pass a little bit on that it's actually trying to do the right thing. So you give it a little extra goodwill on that, and then it's not completely atrocious. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess it's all right.
I think what it was trying to do with the last episode was probably more ambitious and noble.
What was the last episode again?
The touching mind control and you've got powers, Clark. Don't hide like I did. And also the scene where he realized he's bulletproof. Like, I think there was more interesting things it was trying to do here, or in that than here.
That's fair.
I mean, arguably these are two of the better episodes so far, so I suppose we shouldn't complain too much.
Yeah, I think they're definitely amongst the two best.
The standard's not high though. Let's make that very clear.
It's not, no.
Like we're this is maybe touching like a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
I have to really think about it, but sure.
Yeah, but that's the range we're working with here. I think we're between 3 out of 10 and 5 out of 10. I'm saving the 1s and 2s for when we get past season 5, because that's when things really take a shit dive.
They can't all be like that.
A lot of them are.
A lot of them probably, but they can't all be.
Oh, just you wait till we get to the fake pregnancy.
No, it's all right. We got the JSA 2-parter, and we got.
Oh yeah, a 2-parter like season 8.
Yeah, and then the following season there's the Booster and Blue Beetle.
I don't even remember that. I'll be honest, the last couple of seasons are kind of a blur.
Yeah, I'm sure that was there. I definitely remember.
Remember when they call him the Blur later on? That's a thing for a while.
Oh no, not even that. It was the Red Blue Blur.
And well, not always red blue. He had the black.
Yeah, but they call him because they call him the Red Blue Blur for a while, and then he goes black, and they just becomes the Blur, or is it the other way around?
I hate all this. I hate the idea that he has like a black duster version of the
I think
suit.
that one might be a trench coat. I haven't seen it in a while.
It's been a while. I remember it being shorter than what Ashmore had in this, but
I can't remember it. It's been a while.
But regardless, I'm not looking forward to Smallville. Smallville hurts my soul. All right, that's Smallville.